Over the past 5 years, social media has gone through one of the most dramatic transformations since it began. The platforms that once promised connection, community, and a voice for everyone have devolved into something much more harmful: viral stunts, amateur pranks, choreographed dances, and also high levels of anxiety, depression, and the disruption of the very fabric of society. I want to explore why social media has gotten so much worse recently, and the quiet but growing rebellion against it that has the very architects of the system on edge. So I think we can learn a lot about the problems with social media today by looking at how Instagram promotes its own app. If you go to the login page, it says sign up to see photos and videos from your friends. What a load of shit. Anyone that uses Instagram knows this just isn't true and is far from content machine it's become. But it does give us a clue into the challenges company and every social media platform is facing today, and why the distance is growing between what people want and what they're getting. The question is, what happened in the past few years? Here's what happened. Web 2 sort of emerged in 2005. Web 2 companies like Instagram and Facebook, YouTube. The amazing thing about Web 2 was you could like, subscribe to a creator. You could follow them and then you would see the rest of their work as it came to you in the future. This was a new thing. Before Web 2, the internet was mostly real only. Like you log in via IOL of something and you can just read the news. But the amazing thing about Web 2 was for the first time people could upload. They could share, they could broadcast their ideas, and people start to follow each other. But that version of social media didn't last. The idealistic version was great for users, but not for investors. Once these platforms went public, they faced a new challenge. How do you turn connection into profit? And then social media starts to run ads, and ads made them a lot of money. Grow more larger, show more ads. Get more users, show more ads. Hold user attention for longer, show more ads. Get more data on who your customer is, their hopes, fears and dreams. Sell more expensive ads. The customer of Facebook is the advertiser. And what the advertiser wants from consumer is attention. And what Facebook has built is a machine that converts attention into revenue. That is the Facebook machine. Everything about financial system is set up to hold Facebook accountable for revenue growth. What that does is almost entire financial system, hundreds of years of financial infrastructure. It aims at entire system of accountability and discipline at sucking attention away from humanity. And that's the problem. That is the problem. When the biggest tech company in the world are competing for your attention, they will design features that exploit every human vulnerability they can find. Even the smallest change can have a really big impact, like infinite scroll, not a never-ending pass-through. Before this feature existed, websites had pages, natural breaks that let you decide whether to keep going or to stop. In 2006, interface designer Isolation came up with idea to replace those breaks with a never-ending feed. What seemed like small improvement quickly became one of the most influential changes how we use in the internet today. Without a stopping point and the endless stream of content, this simple feature can quietly steal hundreds of hours from your life every year. And that's where the real transformation began. The platforms realized they weren't just places for people to connect anymore. They were attention machines. Every second you spent scrolling wasn't just casual time. It was money in their pockets. The longer they could keep you, the more ads they could show you. And the more ads they could show you, the more valuable your attention became. This was the start of the arms race from your mind. It wasn't enough for you to just check in once or twice a day. No, they needed you hooked, constantly refreshing, constantly chasing the next hit of dopamine. Instead of simply showing you the posts of people you choose to follow, platforms start feeding you what their data predicted you wanted to see. And then came TikTok, the ultimate evolution of everything. These platforms had been building toward. If Instagram was a highlight reel and YouTube was the stage, TikTok became a slot machine. It strips content down to its pursuit, most addictive form, endless short videos, one swipe at a time. No need to search, no need to follow, just one app. And the algorithm instantly learns what makes you tick. Watch a clip for more than 3 seconds. You will get 100 more just like it. Skip one. The system adjusts in real time. It's personalized, hyper-targeted, and designed to hijack your brain's reward system. And the scariest part, it works on everyone. Teenagers, adults, even kids. Within minutes, you're not just watching content, you're being studied, profiled, and fed exactly what will keep you hooked. TikTok doesn't just compete with Instagram or YouTube, it competes with sleep. It competes with your ability to focus on homework, to hold a conversation, to build a real skill. Because why spend hours learning something when you can scroll through 1,000 dopamine hits in the same time? That's the game TikTok plays, and it's winning. But here's what almost nobody talks about it. TikTok isn't just another app. It's the most powerful algorithm even unleashed on human intention. And while it looks like harmless fun, dances, memes, viral jokes, the consequences are massive. Studies show that TikTok is shortening attention spans, rising anxiety levels, and reshaping the way an entire generation thinks. And unlike Facebook or Instagram, which grew slowly over time, TikTok exploded almost overnight. In just a few years, it went from nothing to over 1 billion users. That kind of growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you build the most addictive product the internet has ever seen. So the big question is, if TikTok is this powerful, who's really in control? The users or the platform? And this is where things get dangerous, because it's not just about wasting time anymore. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, they're not just apps. They're shaping how teenagers see the world, how they see themselves, and how they think their future should look. The average teenager today spends over 4 hours a day on social media. That's more time than they spend talking to their parents, more time than they spend outside, and in some cases, more time than they spend sleeping. And anxiety levels among teenagers are at record highs. Depression is no longer rare, it's normal, and it's not hard to see why. When your brain is bombarded with fast cuts, perfect bodies, viral stunts, and endless comparisons, you start to believe you will never be good enough. Real life starts to feel boring, slow, empty. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Social media isn't just connecting us, it's rewarding us. And the ones paying the highest price are teenagers. The generation that should be learning discipline, patience, and resilience instead of learning to chase dopamine, to crave validation, and to expect life to move off the speed of a TikTok swipe. Social media isn't going anywhere. TikTok won't disappear tomorrow. Instagram won't suddenly stop feeding you endless reels. And YouTube will keep recommending videos as long as you're breathing. The platforms won't change for you. You have to change how you use them. That's the hard reality. But it's also your biggest opportunity. Because while 99% of teenagers are stuck scrolling for hours, doing the same thing every single day, there's a tiny group, the 1% who flip the game. They use social media instead of being used by it. They create, they learn, they network, and they grow. And in a few years, the gap between the two groups will be massive. One group will look back and realize they wasted thousands of hours. The other group will look back and realize they built skills, influence, maybe even a business. The question is simple: which side will you be on? You can keep scrolling, laughing at random clips, wasting your time, and nothing in your life will change. Or you can start today, even with something small. Post one video, share an idea, learn one new skill instead of watching another dance trend. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be intentional. That's how winners are made in this digital age.